Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you a daily word for men for March 13th, 2025. It's a Thursday, and the word for today is permanent. I'm taping these ahead. I'm actually trying to tape a whole week ahead because on Monday, the 17th, I am having my new roof installed. While they're bringing the shingles, I'm not quite sure whether they're going to be doing any work. And then the 18th, and hopefully not carrying into the 19th, they're going to be installing the new roof. Uh, my roof was damaged when we got back to back hurricanes, and it took a lot of fighting and haggling and praying to the Lord. But I'm finally going to get a new roof. I paid the insurance, so and I'm almost 100% sure that when they're banging and throwing stuff off the roof, it would not be a good time to record any of these messages. So I'm trying to get ahead. And so I can't read the future. So what I say, if something comes along and I don't mention it, it's because I've tried to get a little bit ahead on these and let things, you know, let the roof take some priority because I don't want to go through another hurricane season with the roof in disrepair. A whole sheath of tile of shingles, lifted up so it doesn't look damaged. They send a drone over to look at it. It doesn't look damaged, but it's not attached to the roof. And we haven't had any big hurricanes since the time, the back to back ones. So it hasn't been evident, but they finally got a guy up there and he looked at it and he said, "Oh yeah, it's not really attached. That'll go the next hurricane." So they're gonna rip everything off, put on a whole new roof. I picked the colors, picked the flashing, all that, and it's a small house. This is, you know, uh, it shouldn't take more than a day to do that. They have a crew of 5 or 6 people that come. So I just wanted to explain that I'm going to be getting a little bit ahead of myself this week and taping them. It's not going to be close at all to the day listed, but I'm following the book. So I just like to be upfront about that in case something bad happens in the news and you're wondering why the heck didn't he mention that? That's why. So the word for today is permanent. Here's a scriptural reference. Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered, how fleeting my life is. This life and its suffering are fleeting. Thankfully, we have a few permanent fixtures that anchor us. One is God, one is change. Both are undeniably active. One creates consistent, lasting stability and love. The other keeps us on our toes. It is important to recognize both in this brief journey on earth. We can allow God to anchor us in the middle of change, or we can fight change and try to anchor ourselves. The latter is an impossible task that creates an embittered individual angry at what life has done to him. The first is the key to our success as Christians. As we look to God and allow Him to strengthen us, He helps us with the change. The secret is to dwell upon His promises, eagerly await our resurrection, and strive to seek after His Spirit. This will concrete our eternal destiny in his everlasting kingdom. And this is the question: what is permanent in your life? And as mentioned, God is a permanent fixture in my life. Sufferings, trials, and tribulations are also a permanent fixture in my life. Uh, it almost sounds Buddhist, except for one thing. To the Buddhist, God is irrelevant. They don't deny that there is a God. They deny there is a creator God. They believe the universe has always been in existence, will always be in existence, may go through another Big Bang. But God is irrelevant. That we are our own saviors, that we can get ourselves out of the mess. So, while surface talk between the two systems of belief sound almost identical, that, you know, suffering is a fact of life, their approach to it is, I won't say atheistic, but it is definitely not theistic. So, as mentioned in the explanation, change is a permanent factor in my life. From second to second, I'm getting older. I can see the bags under my eyes, the lines. I didn't have them at 17. I could see the white hair. This used to be a red beard. Trials and tribulations, and that's also and included in that, I would say, suffering. 3, temptation. There's always temptation. The devil, Satan, is out there looking for the ruin of souls. And we can't forget that. Just as God is there. Now, this is during our lives. What is permanent in our life? There will be an end to Satan. Uh, but I don't think there'll be an end to temptation in my life. And also, God and His Word, and what we know about God, not only through His actions, but another big part of our knowledge of God comes through His Word. And that's a permanent part of my life. It wasn't always, but it is now. And, David confirms how brief my time on earth is. And it is. All of a sudden, I seem to have woken up, and here I am, less than a month away from my 75th birthday. And mentally, I still feel like that 14-year-old kid that is just on the varsity high school swimming team, feeling good, no aches or pains, just in perfect condition. Uh, and my days are numbered. We all know that. There hasn't been a single person who ever existed that is, exists forever. We all die. All die. And how fleeting my life is. This fleeting gives the idea of, it's quick. It's quick. And when I look back, my time with my parents, I only knew my paternal grandmother, how short that time was. But when I was living it, it seemed like it would go on forever. And I'd always have my parents there, and that was kind of like a buffer between me and death. And then they passed, and it's a lot to take in. And then you realize that's That's our human condition. We live in a sick and dying world, and we are sick and dying. But God is permanent. Not just in my life, in everybody's life that has ever existed, and He will be permanent. He exists out of time, out of space, and yet has an immanence to us in the person of Jesus Christ, who is also God, that He came down and became incarnate. So, in a real way, impermanence is the permanent thing in our life except for God. Everything changes in a day, in a minute, in an hour, in a year, but all will be resolved. That is the great undeniable truth. So God bless you all. Have a safe and holy Thursday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.